My wife once begged me not to come to her office party. We were sitting across from each other at a sushi restaurant when she said, "My friends are honestly embarrassed for me when I bring you around." I remember staring at her, chopsticks in hand, wondering if I'd misheard. But no, she said it like she was commenting on the weather. Embarrassed. That was the word she chose. So I finished my sushi, paid exactly my half of the bill, and made a silent promise never to speak to her again unless a lawyer made me. That was the night my marriage ended, the marriage that looked perfect, until it wasn't. Her name was Sabrina. Marketing queen, self-proclaimed socialite, and part-time humility assassin. She could make you feel like the luckiest man alive and a complete disappointment in the same sentence. When we met in college, she was magnetic, confident, stylish, ambitious. I was the grounded one studying IT, the stable guy. She said she liked that about me. I didn't realize grounded was her code word for useful but unimpressive. After graduation, we moved in together. I worked hard in tech. She worked in marketing. Until she lost her job. I paid the bills, supported her dream of building her brand. What I didn't realize was that I was funding Sabrina Incorporated, a startup that sold illusions, and ran entirely on my paycheck. I turned down promotions to stay by her side, thinking I was being a supportive husband. But I was really just a financial life raft for someone determined to sail away the minute she found a shinier ship. Death by 1,000 comments, it started small. You should dress sharper. My friends' husbands are more ambitious. You need to be more confident. I thought she was pushing me to grow. In reality, she was slowly tearing me down, reshaping me into something more presentable for her world. At her work dinners, I'd listen to her friends talk about crypto, yacht rentals, and disrupting industries. When people asked what I did, Sabrina would say, "Oh, Noah works in IT," with the same enthusiasm people use when talking about paint drying. I laughed along, pretended it didn't sting. But deep down, I knew I was the safe, boring husband she was ashamed to show off. The sushi incident that night at the restaurant was the breaking point. She told me her friends were embarrassed by me. No excuses, no sugarcoating. Just straight-up humiliation over a $200 sushi dinner. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I just nodded, finished my food, and said, "Thanks for dinner, Sabrina. I think I'll skip the gala. Wouldn't want to embarrass you." Then I left, quietly, calmly, completely done. I walked out of that restaurant and out of her life. That sushi bill was the last thing I ever paid for her, and the first payment I ever made toward my freedom. Hours of heartbreak. The next few days were brutal. I drank too much whiskey, listened to sad music, Googled things like signs your wife's actually awful, but somewhere between self-pity and clarity, I realized something huge. I wasn't sad about losing her. I was sad about losing the idea of her. The version of her I thought I loved never really existed. The rebuild by Monday, I was done mourning. I emailed my boss about that promotion I'd once turned down and got it. I joined a gym, started eating right, started sleeping better. Dumbbells don't gaslight you. They don't tell you you're not ambitious enough. They just sit there waiting for you to pick them up and get stronger. Within months, I looked and felt like a different man. Not just fitter, freer. My friends came back into my life. I decorated my new apartment with things I liked, not things that fit her brand. I laughed again. I lived again. Then came Zoe. I met Zoe at a tech seminar. She wore mismatched socks, one with astronauts, one with pizza slices. She was funny, honest, and refreshingly real. Our first real conversation was about her cat, Chairman Meow, who apparently hated her printer. I laughed harder than I had in years. There were no games, no competition, no image management. Zoe didn't care about being impressive. She cared about being real. When she told me, "You're just genuinely chill," "And that's what I love about you," I almost cried. Because it was the first time anyone had ever said that and meant it as a compliment. We built something solid. No filters, no pretenses, just two people who actually liked each other for who they were. Karma's grand finale. Then months later, I heard from a friend what had happened to Sabrina. Turns out, Karma had excellent timing and a wicked sense of humor. Her new boyfriend, the venture capitalist she'd bragged about, total fraud. Fake business, leased Tesla, rented suits, living on credit cards and lies. He scammed her for thousands, then disappeared. She got fired for using company resources to help him. Her glamorous friends dropped her the second the drama hit. Her perfect life collapsed like a bad PowerPoint presentation. I didn't celebrate. But yeah, I smiled. The universe had simply balanced the books. The text at 2 a.m. one night, months later, my phone buzzed. It was Sabrina. Hey, been thinking about us. Can we talk? I stared at it. Then I turned off my phone and went back to sleep beside Zoe, who, unlike my ex, actually valued peace over drama. That was the real closure. Full circle, I ran into Sabrina once more, months later at a cafe. She looked smaller somehow, tired, humble. She said, "I miss your stability." I smiled and said, "Maybe next time don't date PowerPoint presentations." Then I walked away. Now, I've got a promotion, my own business, a woman who loves me for me, and the kind of peace money can't buy. Sabrina's friends? They watch me thrive while she quietly spirals. And if there's one thing I've learned through all of this, it's this. Stability isn't boring. It's what everything real is built on. That night, I thought I was paying for sushi. Turns out I was buying self-respect. Thanks for watching. If you like PL's, subscribe.